I often tell people that if in December of 2019 I sat you down, maybe around the Christmas tree, and told you that in 2020 there will be a global pandemic, millions of people will die, there will be global race riots during what is supposed to be a lockdown, and people will riot in the name of a singular event that took place in Minneapolis, Minnesota, you probably would think I was a ridiculous person, conspiracy theorist, somebody that was out of my mind and totally insane. We'll never have a global pandemic, and even if we did, people would stay inside, wouldn't they? There would be nobody in the news media that would suggest that these fiery but mostly peaceful protests would actually be beneficial because social justice is a more urgent need than protecting people from a global pandemic. That would never happen. Now, the incredulity of all of that is washed away in the present, hopefully by now, by the fact, too, that bureaucracies like the CDC, the WHO, and more also tried to make sure that they curtailed, if not controlled, your speech and your other freedoms. Now, all of that would seem crazy to you. And I remind you of this because I want you to think about the ways in which society and culture is shifting far to the left in such a way that we find ourselves thinking, can it get more insane? I assure you it can. And I enter into evidence what just happened at Marquette University. According to the Daily Caller, Marquette University offers gender-affirming voice therapy sessions for minors, according to the university's speech and hearing clinic website. The private Catholic Jesuit University in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, offers voice therapy sessions to minors and adults who are transgender, gender fluid, gender diverse, gender non-binary, or gender non-conforming. According to a flyer for the service, the therapy focuses on intonation, pitch, resonance, pragmatic language, and articulation to help individuals speak with a voice that aligns more with their gender identity. Whatever. Quote, gender-affirming voice therapy for adolescents and adults having a goal of addressing perceived feminine, masculine, and gender nonconforming voices with treatment targeting pitch, resonance, intonation, and social communication skills. The Speech and Hearing Clinic website reads, the sessions are offered to Marquette University students for free. Oh, joy. According to the flyer, and the fee is $300 for 12 sessions that are 50 minutes long. These people will monetize anything. Now, let me just make a couple of points, and then I'll try to make one final more important point. The great lengths that these people have to go to retrain their brains to think according to this sinful ideology is just ridiculous to me. Now they have to have whole workshops to try to train you to talk like a girl if you are a boy. And make no mistake, it said training minors, not adults. Point two, the big problem, as already stated, is that this Catholic university is not just a Catholic school. It's a Jesuit school. Now, that may not mean anything to some of you who do not know what a Jesuit school is, but suffice to say, the Jesuits were formed in the aftermath of the Reformation to try to fight back and reform the Catholic Church so that the Reformation would not be the only kind of reform thing going on, but that the Catholic Church could reform and also get back to scriptural truths. Now, this Jesuit university is offering this insane course on trying to teach you how to be more delusional. Third, and this comes probably more importantly in my realm of kind of theology, philosophy, and ministry, but we hear this very often as Christians that we need to reform the church. We need the church to be more biblical. Like, here's what we really need to do. We just need the church to be the church. We just need it to start practicing what it's supposed to be preaching. And we could start by speaking out about this kind of stuff. If you are a Catholic, if you're a priest, if you're a pastor, if you're just an average church goer, you should be decrying this kind of nonsense and speaking about it as much as possible and scratching your head like I am, wondering how in the world this can happen. But the most important point throughout all of this is that this is just the beginning of the insanity. If you thought that it's insane that people could even suggest that they are a different gender simply because of the way that they feel rather than the biological sex that they possess, if you think that that's crazy, if you think that it's crazy that based upon a feeling that people say is a social construct would go to the great lengths of butchering their own bodies to reaffirm just a simple feeling, if you think that's crazy, or if you think it's crazy that we have endless genders or men pretending to breastfeed babies through hormone replacement that could be damaging to the babies. And by the way, we will find out later that it is if we ever find, not ideologues in the scientific community, but true scientists. If we think that it's crazy that teachers are secretly indoctrinating kids or that people are chopping off parts of their body, then I suggest that you do a couple of things. That you quit reeling from the insanity. That you quit being exhausted with the cultural battles that lay ahead. And you do a couple of things. One, you get informed. Read or watch this movie that I just got done talking about, No Way Back. Read things like Irreversible Damage, but stay informed. Stay informed about what's going on so that you can speak as an expert on things. The vast majority of the people who do not speak up are not just the people who are not willing to confront evil, but people who do not feel confident that they can speak to these kind of things. Well, the answer to that is gain the confidence by learning. Learn one new thing each day about a subject, and it will equip you to find the confidence that you need. More importantly, it will also give you the kind of catalyst that you need to speak up about these things. Many people want to ignore what's going on in the world because then they can ignore their responsibility to actually acknowledge the existence of what is going on. So if you stay informed, you no longer can remain ignorant about these things, and you no longer have an excuse. I call it stepping in the poo. Once you realize it's there, you're a little bit more careful about where you're walking in the vicinity of that place, wherever you happen to be. Now, the second thing is this, and this is a big one for some of you. Post what you find. As you become a little bit more informed about these subjects, post what you find on social media. For those of you who have never posted anything other than your daily Bible verse or what your kids are doing for lunch that day, or maybe how soccer practice was, I want to encourage you to do something. Find the boldness to post something that discusses and exposes what is going on in the world. You can post a clip from this show. I post a lot on Instagram, and I highly encourage you to follow me at Reed Huberman, or you can follow the show at the Indie Thinker Podcast. And I highly encourage you to then share some of those stories. You can even add your 2 cents in what you've been researching, but share it. And let your friends see you share it. Create discussion points, because that's step number 3. Maybe some of your friends see this that you go to church with and you begin to discuss it with another person. Maybe you should even discuss it with somebody that disagrees with you and see if you don't find in their response, 1, unsatisfactory and disingenuous arguments, but then also 2, if you don't find some of the excuses that you used to make that keep you ignorant of what is really going on. And once you see your former self in them, it will be a catalyst for you for standing up, for being brave, and letting your voice be heard. We need awareness more so than ever before, just as we saw with Sound of Freedom, as we saw with No Way Back, and hopefully on subjects like what we see with what's going on at Marquette University. Because when we become aware of something, we can do something about it. But it is only in learning about that thing that we can actually make a difference. But we need a group of people who are willing to judge things based upon the truth. And when you find it, it's worth standing for. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and to go with God. So you just got done watching a small excerpt of a much larger episode. You can find the link to that full episode down below in the description of this video. So you definitely want to check that out, because if you like that clip, you'll like the much larger episode. And while you're at it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and click that little bell to be notified when great new episodes of Indie Thinker come your way. Thanks for watching.